Well, I saw a listing in my neighborhood that was like way overpriced, like even overpriced for the crazy market we were in. And I just started laughing. I was like, good luck. And I was like, maybe I should list my house for 100K less, even though it's more than what it's actually worth. And maybe I'll get it because their listing is so outrageously priced. But like when you're
Right.
looking at all the comparables around, it's just like, what makes your house so special that it's worth $150,000 more than everyone else's? Like, it's
Yeah.
not, right? So,
And that's the hard part as a realtor, right? All we can do is
yeah,
just sort of give our best advice based on what we have in front of us. But
yeah,
the bottom line is I always say, this isn't our show, right?
no,
Seller
no,
does then have that final say.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
It's a really odd time real estate market right now. And I can only speak for Ontario. Are you noticing that in BC where things aren't selling like they were? Is it
yeah.
the same
It's definitely
slowdown?
it's shifting. Yeah, you can definitely see things slowing down here. A lot of like corrections on the list price, things like that. So it's yeah, like properties that would normally be up and gone within 7 days are still sitting there on the market, right? And
Yeah.
so a lot of people are waiting. A lot of the buyers are also waiting, anticipating they're going to drop even further, right? So
If I had a nickel
yeah,
in the last 3 weeks, how many of my buyers have said, okay, what is going to go? I mean, who doesn't want the advantage of waiting another week or so if maybe they could save another 20 or 50,000, right?
yeah, mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, it's an interesting shift that in
Mm-hmm.
my long career, I've seen plenty of shifts. This one is really funky.
Yeah,
This one is really where I'm scratching my head going, boy, oh boy, I did not see this
yeah,
coming,
mm-hmm.
and this reaction. It's very weird. So it looks like
Definitely.
we've got some people joining us today. I recognize
Yeah,
some of those names.
yeah, definitely got some repeat visitors in here. And
Yeah.
so if you just joined, what we're going to be doing today is more of like a Q&A, open Q&A with respect to your leads or any, situations or, I guess tactics that you may be trying to work on or have been working on, and you want to share those, or you have a question about what maybe the best process or steps that might be to take advantage of that and help everyone else. Well, we can only grow bigger as a group by helping and lifting each other up,
Mm-hmm.
really, at the end of the day. You guys do, and I know you, Tara, I know you manually assign your campaigns for the most part, but if you guys will get an email about it at some point. But we just have an update today. So a couple exciting ones. I always love to share the updates when they happen with people that I first talk to. So the first update is your guys' campaigns can now be triggered by pipelines. So if you have a lead that you've moved, let's say, for example, into the non-responsive pipeline, you can trigger like the unresponsive lead campaign, right? Or maybe you put them in a specific rating, the hot, warm, cold, things like that. You can create a campaign that nurtures somebody that, you kind of feel like they're kind of in that cold zone where it's more of a long-term nurture. Maybe the emails are a little bit more spread apart. So that's a cool new feature. Another cool feature is you guys now have the ability to advertise your Twilio number. And if somebody calls that number or texts that number where the number doesn't match in your CRM system, it's going to automatically create a lead for you. So
Okay,
it's
say that again because you paused out a little bit.
so you, with your Twilio number, if somebody that's not currently in your system, your CRM system, sends you a text message or calls that number, it's going to automatically create a lead in the system. So it won't have the lead's name or anything like that. That's going to be for you, because if they're texting you, you're able to go back and, obviously fill in all the details afterward. And then if they call you, you at least have the call recording that you can go back and listen to and update the profile in there and do what you need to. So that's an exciting thing for you guys to be able to advertise that number on everything, and anyone that's reaching out to you is going to automatically come and turn into a lead into your system.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. Well, and
Yeah.
that's good because it'll be in there, and that's where it all starts, is if it's in the dashboard.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's
Dashboard,
like,
I can do something with you.
I know. Right. So that's an exciting one for sure for a lot of individuals. I think a lot of people, if you start using that number, you're going to definitely benefit from doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what the third one is. What was the third one? That one. Oh, you guys can now customize the questionnaire on your website. So when a lead registers on your website afterward, you can have a pop-up appear that asks questions like, are you a first-time buyer? Are you pre-approved for a mortgage? Are you working with an agent? So you can customize the questionnaire, whether it's a buyer lead, a rental lead, or a seller lead.
Okay.
And then when you have those questions filled, it'll also, so let's say, you guys will see in the video, but I had one where it was like, are you working with an agent? And if they answered yes, it'll automatically add the tag to the lead has an agent. So you're not having to go in there. So even like the first time buyer, if they put yes to a first time buyer, it'll say, it'll have the tag first time buyer. If they have a house to sell, it'll say, homeowner. So it's automatically taking some of those steps in the process off of your plate just by somebody filling out the form. And you can make it so it's mandatory that they fill out that form, or it's optional. But the form will continue to pop up every time they go to look at listings until they actually complete it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do we set that up ourselves on the back end, or going forward, is every lead going to have?
You would set it up because everyone might have different questions that they want to ask depending on what it is, right? So some people want to ask if they have an agent. Some people want to know if they're a first-time buyer. Some don't. They don't really care. Okay? So everyone, or they want to know if they have a home to sell.
And then, of course, the email coming out from Agent Locator will show us how to set that up, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. It's pretty simple. Like it took me a second. There is a little video in there too. So it's pretty straightforward, but yeah, so it's going to help a lot of people as well, just with respect to, how you're able to create different audiences for yourself. You're going to be able to easily pull up all your first time buyers, right?
Yeah, that's really good. I found over this weekend, I always say this, and for those of you that have seen the previously recorded sessions that we've done, the coaching, sometimes I find I'll go through a period of days where my leads aren't responding as much to my drip, and then all of a sudden it's like, the floodgates have opened, the Red Sea has parted, and this weekend was a phenomenal amount of people responding and telling me more about their search criterias. And one lady this weekend sent a text, replied to one of my text messages on my drip, and I'm going there tomorrow to give her a price on her home. I'm finding as long weekends happen, it does slow down the week of, but always on a long weekend, I don't know if people are sitting around campsites and they're looking at listings, but they're responding. And that's where, as we previously talked about, even though this weekend I actually did try to take 24 hours off work, I still am responding in a very quick fashion. Mm-hmm. So even though we were outside having completely insane competition between me, my boys, and our Nicole, of who is going to win the game. And just so y'all know, Austin Baylis, who won? Yes, this one beat her children quite a few times, if I might say. But I can respond. I can still respond and answer their questions and then go back to what I'm doing. So I'm wondering, anybody on here today, did you get a lot of reaction this weekend? Because when I see a lot of replies, it tells me that people now are kind of wanting to go back out there and start looking again. Mm-hmm. They're thinking more about real estate than they were prior the last couple of weeks. And I think Tracy said her.
Yeah. I think too, a lot of it is like I know I do it. A lot of us do it. When you're traveling places, you naturally go on and look to see what the houses are like, what they're listed for in that area. And, you start to explore a little bit. So I imagine over the summer months, you may get leads that are from out of area that are simply registering because they like what they see when they're visiting your neck of the woods. So I know I do. I just know how to do it without having to bother anyone, right?
Yeah.
But there, you're gonna get a lot of individuals out there that are definitely, they may not be as serious, but there's definitely some level of interest that got them looking in the first place, right?
Right. I just find that when my drip campaign goes out, I always get a lot of responses, but there is that period every month where it's like everybody's responding at the same time. And it just sort of makes me, because I'm always monitoring my leads, I'm always conscious of their activity. And when I see slow times and when I don't. And this weekend was really, really popular. Now it looks like Purinka's got her hand up. She's been on quite a few times. You have something maybe she wanted to share.
Yeah. I've allowed you to talk, Purinka, if you want to.
Hey, Tara.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. If you remember, Crystal, she shared quite a story with us.
Yes.
About how she got into real estate and actually called me as well, which I really appreciated. Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm good, Tara. How are you, Crystal?
Good. Good. Thank you.
I wanted to share my long weekend experience. So I put up a listing in Waterloo on Tuesday, and I was not sure should I do an open house on a long weekend or not. So I said, okay, let me do it. And I was not expecting a lot of turnout, but you won't believe Saturday it had 20 people walk in. Sunday it had
20 people?
20 different groups. And on Sunday, there were 18 different groups.
Stop it.
Yes. And already I have 18 showings done. And the thing I wanted to share is that on Saturday, I had an open house 2 to 4, also on Sunday. But I got out like 2 hours before and knocked 100 doors on Saturday, 100 doors on Sunday to invite the neighborhood.
Right.
And I was very surprised. People were home. I got 25% open rate. People were talking. They were sharing their experience. And they were like 4 doors down. There was a family renting, and they moved from US a few months back. They walked into the open house, and I started chatting with them, and they were a common friend of mine. And now they want to work with me and want to buy a house. They really like the one I put on open house, but it's too early for them to put an offer because they are still not mortgage approved. But yes, I will be having a chance to help that family. So yes, I worked Saturday and Sunday ass off. My kids were not very happy. So on Sunday, I took them to Burlington Spencer Park for the whole week. Whole day out. So it was compensated. So you never know where's the response coming. So long weekend was a great experience for me to door knock and open house.
And you had results. That's we don't always get results because that's just the name of the game, but look at the results you had. What a phenomenal open house.
Absolutely. And everybody shared their phone numbers. A few people shared their emails, and everybody was, very happy to talk about, and please let us know. And one of the family they came on Saturday, and we have our friends coming on Sunday, and we want them to move close to us. And then that family brought that family on Sunday. So you never know. You might have people in the neighborhood who like to sell their house in future, and they want to come and see how do you stage the house, how do you market it, how do you present the house, so all they were like selling questions, they were buying questions. So it was a lot of activity.
I am so proud of you because on the long weekends, typically it does usually Open houses are slower for sure. But this just goes to show you, if you just take the time and do it, all of those people, 20 through the day before, 18 on the Sunday, those are now 38 contacts that you can now add into Agent Locator and put on your drip campaign.
Yes, that's right.
You know what I mean? So my Agent Locator is kind of where I always put all of my leads, all the open house, all the realtor.ca, plus the Google pay per click leads that I buy. So that's kind of like my lead source. So I look at that and I just say, add it onto your drip, set them up to get listings through Agent Locator, and you are going to get so much more business from those people. All because she decided, you know what, I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to do an open house on the long weekend. You had nothing to lose. You had everything to gain. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Good for you, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Tara. Thanks.
Oh, good for you. Isn't that good, Crystal?
It's amazing. Really. Yeah. It's amazing. Right? Well, you know what? You probably didn't have a lot of competition either with open houses, because a lot of realtors, they get into the same mindset of, well, no one's going to come by.
There was just one open house in the neighborhood on Saturday, and there was none on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's because consistently they are slower on the long weekend. So you know what I mean? That is what the history have shown. Doesn't mean you can't do one, but most of us would say, gosh, probably better the weekend after when people are home. And this she blew it right out of the park. You're going to get a lot of listings from that. You're going to get, that neighborhood is going to see how hard you worked, especially door knocking as well ahead of time. Things like that matter to a lot of people.
And I had one family whose kids play with my seller's kids, and they were talking to each other, and my seller, they texted me yesterday night that those friends, they were talking about you, that you invited them for the open house, and it's a great amount of effort you have put in. So so this is a repeat client, and I already got a referral listing which I sold in February this year.
Okay.
So it's it's a good experience.
Great work. Oh, yay.
Thank you.
You'll have to share how it ends up going if one of those open house guests ends up pursuing, or if you gain something from one of those individuals, right?
Sure, I will definitely. Yeah.
But make sure you put them all into Agent Locator so that you can set them up to go on your drip campaign.
Yes, that is what I will definitely do. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Wow, that was great. Oh, that made my okay. So
we have a question here from this is from Christina. So there's a few questions in here.
Okay.
Do you have an ISA, Tara?
Do I have an ISA?
Yeah.
Okay. So with Agent Locator, no. I have an ISA company that, like, I just tried this seller lead company, and they do ISA to get the seller leads. Like this, it's a whole other different company. And I've expressed this before. I'm not happy at all. But no, I'm my ISA. Nick is, I train this is what I've been doing for so long. So I know how to talk to these people. And my ISA, in all honesty, is really the significance and the magnitude of my drip campaign that I use. Yeah.
Perfect. And then how soon would you call them once they've signed up on your website personally?
Okay, so this is something that I switched up a few years ago, about 6 or 7 years ago. Up until then, as soon as the lead hit my phone, I would absolutely make that call and say, thank you so much for registering. I see you're looking in, Timbuktu for whatever. But I noticed a significant shift where people weren't answering, and when they were answering, when I called right away, they weren't happy. So that's when I took a step back and I relayed more on the magnitude of my drip campaign as opposed to me calling. So what I've been doing since then, especially Crystal, I want to say it's been over the last 3 months, where, as you know, you probably get tired of me saying this all the time. I'm constantly trying something different to see if it takes. I'm always readjusting what I do. Other than my drip campaign is always steadfast. I always use that. So for the last 3 months, we've started testing. Do we make a call on day 30? Because now they've gotten listings from me every single day for 30 days, plus a couple of really soft emails that have gone out. And we've had some success where they're more willing to talk to us after they've now seen my name in their inbox steadily. And then we've done it after 5 or 6 days where some talk, a lot don't want to. So I'm a believer that you probably don't need to make the calls like we used to, but try it. If it's not working, then adjust it and do it at a different time in your campaign run. That's all you can do. And then when you find something's working, do it consistently. And then if you start to see it not working again, try to make another change to it.
Perfect. And then what would be your kind of opening lines that you would use, like your initial script when you're calling them in those flows of those calls? Like, how does that work for you?
Okay, so I feel like I'm on the hot seat today.
I'll give you one of those little mini microphones.
Yeah. I'm a little bit stressed. No, I'm teasing. You guys all have a lot to do overall. I'm not scripted. I absolutely, and go back to some of the other recorded ones that we've done. I do not ask survey type questions. This is my mindset. When I wrote my books for my coaching company, the one thing when it came down to the phone script book or the phone scenario book, I don't call it I got to make a call. I call it, I need to introduce my voice to the lead. So when I do that, I'm always saying this call is the lead show. It is not my show. So I always allow the lead to direct my phone calls. So the first thing that I do is I just say, hey, Bob, it's Tara calling from begintosearch.com. I just wanted to take a quick minute just to thank you so much for taking the time and coming on my site as much as you do. I really appreciate it. And usually when I say that, it catches them off guard. And they'll be like, oh, okay, Tara, yeah, no problem. A lot of them will say, I really like your site. It's super easy to use. And then I simply reply and go, continue using it. That's what it's there for. If you ever see anything you want to take a look at, or if you want me to change your search, just let me know. Now you have my cell number, because I'm always calling them from my cell. And that's strictly all I say. And the lead now will either say, oh, that's great, Tara, thanks, I appreciate you calling. Or the lead now wants to talk to me more, right? Yeah. Where, as I've said before, Crystal, now I hear about how much they don't like their husband and their dog.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You hear a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's the honest to goodness truth. I'm not making it up. So the lead directs the call, right? And in my mind, if I can emphasize again, instead of me saying, I've got a call, I say, I just need to introduce my voice, right? And that takes a little bit of pressure off me. And I just need to thank them for coming on the site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfecto. And how often, so once you've had a conversation with the lead, how often would you follow up with them personally? I'm sure there's a lot of different variable factors with the response to that.
Yeah, there is. So remembering that my leads are getting my drip campaign that I've created on my own. So I already know that they're getting listings from me every day, and they're getting a series of very soft, gentle emails, usually about one a week or every couple of weeks, depending on where they are. So if a lead is just basically saying to me, I'm not ready yet, but thanks for checking in, I always reply back right away and say, no problem at all. Please take your time. I will be here when the time is right for you. So when a lead does something like that, I just allow the drip just to continue, right?
Mhm.
If a lead says, listen, I think that I'm looking more in 6 months' time, then what I'll do is I always use the tasks on the agent Locator dashboard. And then I'll create a task that says, listen, Tara, follow up with Becky. And I never wait until the end of the timeline they've given me. I'll usually do it in another 90 days or a month before their timeline. I don't want to wait till the last minute because I want to get them in the car sooner if possible, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me just see here. Oh, it went down. Christina gets a little bit of anxiety sending the mass email because of the unsubscribes. Yes, you don't want people to unsubscribe, that's for sure. It's not, it also depends on what we're sending in our mass emails, right? And when we're sending them to them. Sometimes if somebody's new and all of a sudden you blast them with this stuff too much right away. Some people are like, I don't want my inbox jammed with this stuff, right? And sometimes they don't mean to unsubscribe. Right. So you could always call those people for sure. And, it goes back into your customer service. Right. So they could have still wanted the listings. It was the email about whatever it was that you might have been sending that they're like, yeah, I'm not interested in getting this kind of information. So I would always definitely reach out to those people. You've done a couple with the open house invites. But you don't put your name or picture out there. So I'm struggling with the idea. So basically it sounds like you're sending emails that have your name as the sender, but there's no information about you on there.
I feel like that's what she's
saying. And I don't know if that might be contributing to the unsubscribe, right?
Yeah, do that.
I'll allow you to talk, Christina, and then it might be easier.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Hi.
Hi.
So good to talk to you.
I know. Thank you. Thanks for answering all the questions. Sorry to put you in the hot seat.
What I'm here for.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So yeah, when I send out emails or my system's sending out emails right now, I went the unbranded route. So it's just like a name, like searchrealty.com. And it says that as the sender as well. So I'm still quite anonymous, and I've just been running into a feeling or thought that, I don't know if that's really effective because it's not getting them to know me. And so that's where I'm like, what's better, branded, unbranded? And should I make that shift now, right?
So Crystal, I'm a little confused by what Christina's saying because I have an unbranded landing page, begin to search. But it is my name attached to it.
Yeah, the emails are always coming from you, Christina. They always see your name as the sender in their inbox.
Yeah, I think the way I have it set up right now is it doesn't have my name at the bottom. It just has the generic website name. So I have to change that.
So she's talking about her signature.
But I mean, you're not even, So you don't have your signature in there at all?
I don't have my picture, or I don't think I have my full name. So I just feel like
okay, do that. Put your signature in, Chris. Yeah, put your signature in. Listen, at the end of the day, you're a realtor, and this is about branding for you. So all of my emails that go out, I have my defaulted signature that you can do in the email template section, or the email section on your settings. And you want to have your signature, and don't be afraid to have your picture and your logo and all that, because they have to know who you are, even though they've landed on an unbranded site. Because we want them to know that Christina is the agent they want to use, right? Yeah. So change that, and it's super easy to do. Super. Does that help you?
that helps a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can also add like a custom top banner and like custom footers. So if you have like a banner that's even on your website that's got your name and your picture, you can have that as the, you know, the header for all those listing emails as well. So it's all right there. And there's more of that connection of seeing, even if it's just a brand and your name is on there, they're seeing it over and over again every time they go to look at listings, not just who the sender is.
It makes a difference. It
Definitely.
really does. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm in that place to make that shift because now I have some leads, but my database needs to increase, but I definitely want that presence and familiarity to build. So
yep. And you'll
you.
notice that they're going to start building. So what has happened with me repeatedly with my leads? Now I've been doing this for so long, like it's been about 18 years now, but honestly, they start to build trust in your name because your name now is your realtor, right? So the two are synonymous together. So even though you might not hear from them, you know, or you should realize that they are thinking about you as a realtor, right? And that's where a lot of the conversion really happens because it's your name going in there every day, right? And so you're going to be the first one that they're probably going to ask a question to, because you're the one going in. So first and foremost, get that signature done as soon as you get off this program.
Definitely the next thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Super good. All right. Perfect.
Sabrina's asking, so she says, it was great what you say on your first call, but what do you generally say on the second or third call when you're doing those follow-ups? What does that approach look like for you?
Well, you know, again, every scenario is different. So if I've had a conversation with somebody and they're like, listen, Tara, I'm not ready yet. I'm thinking it's going to be in the fall. Then, of course, I book the task, make the notes, because as I've said before, I feel like I have self-diagnosed Alzheimer's sometimes. So I always make a note so that I can remember what they said to me. When I make that follow-up call, I'm just basically saying, hey there, Sue, it's Tara again. The last time we talked, you mentioned you might be thinking about making a move in the fall. How's that going? You know, one of the agents that I coach, beautiful question he says is, do you have any questions for me? Right? So super, again, allowing the lead to direct the phone call. You know, I'm not there going, how many bedrooms do you want? How many? I allow them to answer and then I proceed. Right. So that's what all the follow-up calls, in my opinion, only should be. You know, there isn't this written rule that you have to follow every single thing and check it off. Just introduce your voice, see how they are. And maybe when you do your follow-up, just refer back to your last conversation. Maybe there might be something of interest you might want to tell them. Hey, you might have questions about the interest rate. Here's what I know. Does that help you?
For sure.
A little bit?
A little bit. It's just, it's being casual somewhat with your conversations, right? It doesn't have to be so textbook, right? That's all.
So, you know what I say? Always put yourself in the position of a lead. So when you get calls from duct cleaning companies or, you know, whatever it is, how do you respond? And that's how I make a call. I know what I don't like. I know the first thing that's going to send me the opposite way. So when I make my calls, I am the polar opposite of what everybody else that's trying to call me is. And just go forward with that. Yeah.
Let me just see here. Saskia is asking, how long would you try following up with someone if they're not opening your drip campaign emails, take your calls, or never visit your search website again? What do you do with those people that are just kind of like completely inactive?
I leave them. So remember this, if I had a nickel for every time I said this, I've already paid for the lead. I've already paid the money. So I'm not a big deleter. If they're not opening up and I've tried to email them, hey, you know, is there another email we can use, or tried to text or call, listen, can we use another alternative means of getting in touch with you? If I'm not hearing from them, I'm already out the $8, $9, or $10 it cost me. So I just leave them, in all honesty. Do you have anything that you would recommend, Crystal?
You can't, like, you can put them on an unresponsive campaign if you wanted to, something that's soft. And one really great text you can send somebody is just asking if it's them. Right? Hey, is this Crystal?
Oh, that's a thought.
Right? And people might go, yeah, who is this? Right? Or who is this? Right? It's such a simple question that generates a high level of responses. Imagine yourself if someone sent you a message like, hey, is this Tara? Right? We're likely to respond. So
okay.
Yeah.
So let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's try that. If they're not opening, why don't you try sending a text just saying,
yeah,
is this so-and-so? You registered on my site, and see what the response is. I have had in the last 30 days, 2 people that were registered that did send me a text saying, I don't know who you're referring to. It's not me. So try that. I think that's good. Note to self.
Yeah. It's just simple things, right?
You guys, as you're learning off me. Yeah.
It's simple things. And you got to remember, like, our sometimes people aren't ready to talk to us, right? Just like we get phone calls and we know who it is, and we're just like, nope, not doing it. Nope, not doing it. Leads are the same, but they're just not ready to talk to you just yet. But also, our email programs are now so sophisticated that if they didn't action the first handful of emails, often enough they start going into their promotions folder or their spam folder, because Google, Hotmail, Yahoo has taken upon themselves to decide for them that they don't want to see this, right? So it's not, sometimes it's no fault of their own that they're not seeing they're not coming back to the website, right? So
good point. Good point. And listen, it has happened to me in the past multiple times where people that were registered 6 years ago, 4 years ago, and didn't have a ton of activity in that time, just sent me an email going, okay, Tara, now I'm ready. So that I never, ever, ever delete unless somebody says, delete me, right? You never know. So try to hang in. Okay.
Yeah. And then Furman's basically kind of reiterating that question, other than just, sending them an SM or to check their spam folder, like, what else would you do? But as you said, Terry, you just leave them, right? And in due time, sometimes people do come to the forefront. You could also send out mass emails, because it's got to be creative with your subjects, right? Encourage them to open it. Yeah. Right. And then, and sometimes those, even though the listings email keep going into that folder, because this email has a different subject than all the other emails that are the other ones, and the content is different, often those emails will go into their inbox, not into the spam or promotion folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So try that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's different creative ways, and we can hope that everyone wants to talk to us and is responsive. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Yeah.
Don't get your feelings hurt. Trust me.
Yeah. Why won't you talk to me?
Oh, I know. It's
and some people just aren't ready, right? Like even when I was back in sales here, there's, I'd call realtors in my area, and one guy, he hung up on me twice, and I just kind of laughed. You kind of get a little bit like, you hung up, like, who are you to hang up on me? It's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard to sometimes not take it a little bit personally. But then he ends up signing up, and I just shake my head. I'm like, seriously, so you don't give me the time of day, hanging up on me and actually being rude about it, and then you end up signing up in the long run of things. So it's, had you talked to me, 2 years prior, we could have had you a lot more business going there, bud. But
I know it's the truth. It's the truth. Listen, we aren't here to say when it's the lead's time to buy or sell property. And that's the one thing that I always teach, no matter who I'm coaching, is this isn't our show, this is their show. So All I want is to make sure that it's my name in their inbox every day.
Mhm.
That's all I want. I know the drip that I've created is an amazing drip where they are led to respond. And once they start responding, then I can now do what I do best.
Mhm.
Work them to get them in the car. The bottom line is if I don't hear from them, I still know that branding with my name going in their inbox every day is just as powerful. And a lot of people don't want to be bugged with phone calls anymore. I mean, that's just sort of where our society is right now. And maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll go back. Who knows?
It changes. I think it shifts back and forth because people get tired of automation. And I just want to talk to a human, right? All those calls you make and you get press 1, press 5, press 3, press 2, press. Sorry, you've entered an invalid response. Click. It's like we just sometimes want to talk to someone, right? So the more automated everything is, sometimes it's beneficial, but sometimes it can cripple you a little bit with things as well. So
yeah. Very good. Yeah. I love the response. Keep your questions coming because I learn from you guys as well, right? This is what the beautiful thing is about being realtors is we all work together no matter where we live. We're colleagues and we can only get a great name in this business as if we share and we share together, right?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Christina, you can create SMS campaigns for sure, but it's also, if you've already talked to somebody, you got to be, it's more of just, hey, just want to check in on you, how things are going. Some people do like talking on the phone, and sometimes you ultimately have to talk to somebody on the phone to really get the full story or to be able to help them, right? I always say a 5-minute phone call is an hour-long text back and forth.
Oh my gosh, it's so true, eh? Yeah.
It sat there and it's like, I did it once with someone. I can't even remember. It was like a friend or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been texting for like an hour. When you're going back and reading the conversation, like this is a 5-minute conversation if we just picked up the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the interesting thing about having the ability to text now in Agent Locator, because when I first joined, we didn't even have that option, is I think it's good to incorporate it into your email drip. I think there's a power to go by a nice email that has your signature and your branding on it and something that they can visibly see as opposed to texting through the Twilio number or your own cell phone number, because eventually it will be your cell phone you use. So for mine, what I did was in my existing drip that I had, I then incorporated a couple of text messages inside the drip. So instead of an email, they got a simple text. And I'm seeing a response now. It took a while, Crystal. It took me a while before I start seeing which one is getting more active. But now both the texts are getting phenomenal replies. As much as my emails, which tells me it's better to have both together, right?
Yeah. And then even if you're calling
and not one on top of one another.
No. And even if you're calling, Sarah, it's like you don't have to talk to the person to let them know that you're there, right? You can leave a voice message.
Yeah.
Right? Just let them know I'm here if you have any questions. Just want to make sure things are still good on your part. Right. So it's just they are recognizing that you're still working for them, even though they're not actually pursuing anything in that very moment.
And it is true. Half the time, if I do make a call, I do wish I get their voicemail.
I know.
Right. I mean, don't we all?
I know.
But, here's an interesting story. Gosh, I have so much. Sorry, my phone is always ringing. I have so many stories from leads. So this was about 10, 11 years ago. And this is when the way you got a lead was with an email drip campaign, but it was also calling them as soon as they hit your phone. I mean, my phone would go off and I would, press the text message, press the button and call the lead. So, now I was calling them at least once a month. That was kind of the program that I was doing back then. And I called, her name was Lindsay. And I left her a message and I just said, hey, Lindsay, you know, it's Tara calling from, and then gave the name of the website. And I just said, again, I've been saying the same thing all this time. I just want to thank you so much for coming on and looking at listings. I see that you come on a lot and I really appreciate it. Well, about 3 hours later, my cell phone rung and it was her. And she said to me, exact words were, Tara, it's Lindsay. I just got your message. And I wanted to tell you that when I'm ready, you are the person I will use. And the reason is this. I loved how simple your message was, because every other realtor that's calling me is asking me way too many questions and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is honestly, and that made an impact in me, because we never know what we're saying. Is it the right way? Is it the wrong way?
Oh, for sure, right?
Even me, after all these years, I'm like, did I screw that up? Right. And I learned right away, that simple thank you is all you need to make an impact on your lead.
Mm-hmm. Do you have some text templates to get the leads to respond? There is some. Let me see if I can find if they're on our training site or not. I'll just have to check while I do that. I know we have some documents that are, you know, SMSs that do convert for sure. If you have the extended buyer campaign, some of you may have it, may not. It runs for about 3 to 4 months, essentially, and it'll stop if you make contact with someone. But the messages are spread out to, and they're the ones that are used by our ISA team that have generated the highest response rate. So getting that lead to initially respond to you in the first place. So let me just see if this one, how to simulate example SMS approaches. All right. So I'll put it in the chat here. It's a link to the training website. So the training.agent locator, I encourage you guys to all look at this website. It has all your how-tos. There's part on lead conversion. This part is in part of the lead conversion aspect of that website. So it's one of the, I think it's actually the last tutorial in that one there.
I think sometimes on Agent Locator Inside Group, they also post some of the text messages that they use as well.
Yeah.
I have seen different samples of it on that Inside Group. If you guys aren't a part of the Inside Group, they can just join. Can they not, Crystal?
Oh, yeah. So you request to join Agent Locator clients. We make sure that you're either got a sub-user account, like it's private. You have to be let in, so not anyone can be in that group. It's privy to you guys, essentially. And then if you are an admin or someone that doesn't necessarily have a user account, it's just making sure that you put a little comment, I am the admin for this person, right? So,
but it's pretty good on there. If you guys aren't on there, definitely join, because Inside Sales do quite often post some samples of things that have been working. Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. But that extended one too. And then it's really just like questions. It's just soft approaches. Like, you know, I know you're probably just browsing for now, but is there anything I can do to help? Right. So it's just, and they're spread out, not to like, you know, every single day or anything like that, where they're like, oh my gosh, stop. They're like 1 week, and then one will go out 2 weeks later, and then we'll go out 1 week later, and then one might go out 3 weeks after that. Like they're spread out to seem more human. Rather than automated of like every single day, like sending them a message.
You don't want that.
No. So far those have been, because it helps you too with gaining that connection, even if they've kind of fallen off for a while, they're not active, things like that. So if you guys don't have that currently set up, support can definitely help make that happen for you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Do you ever get a response back from the people that you train on if they get more responses via a text message, those campaigns?
No, I haven't. I should probably look at some stats to see, because we can. I have a whole tool where I can kind of, well, I can just jump into random accounts, really. Some older ones that I know aren't on that, they're on a, our previous campaign versus those ones, to see how many of them are actually responding to SMS messages. So, yeah, because we usually, I know Addo will run he is like, runs scripts. He can do it a lot easier and faster. I have to do it manually.
Forte either.
Yeah, it's like he can go on the back end and just like find like whatever, right? I don't know how he has a query to do it. So I believe he can. So yeah, because often we watch that, right? We want to make sure that we're getting responses. Obviously we want them to be effective for you guys, not just throwing them there and, calling it a day. So yeah. What do you want support to sign? You would have to send an email to support. It's support@agentlocator.ca for that. And I will put the Agent Locator clients group link in the chat as well. So if anyone on here isn't part of that group, they can request to join that group, and they generally monitor. Yeah, you don't have any. Somebody's monitoring all the requests in there. So yeah, it'll also be where we're advertising for any upcoming webinars. You guys obviously get emails about all that as well. Sometimes our live dials. Sometimes I'll like stream it live into there. Just different stuff. So there's a value, but it's also sometimes like if you have a question, you have a whole community of people that can give you insight, right? Or maybe you're encountering some sort of a problem. Then usually, like, we have so many different, members that monitor this group that you generally get the assistance that you're looking for. So
yeah, I love it. There's a lot of different tidbits that people post that they've tried this and that, and honestly, it's worth gold to me, some of the stuff that I see. But yeah, any other questions for us? Here. Oh, Siegler's back on. How are you doing, buddy?
Sabrina, in order to get Tara's drip, you have to be part of her coaching program. Unfortunately for our group here, but that's something that she has exclusive to her program. So, but she shares her insights, and you can share kind of how you build that campaign and what's included in it. Because again, it's really better to come from yourself, right? How you would prefer to speak to somebody, not how I choose to speak to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and go back to some of the recorded sessions that we've done, because I don't think it was the last one, but the one before, where we talked about how to write a drip campaign and where do you start. So when I started doing this years and years ago, again, this was because I was in real estate before there was internet. So we had pagers, and, it was a really big transition for us when realtor.ca first was I'm going to say invented, if that's the right word, because that's when now we started getting email leads. People could click on your listing and go, I want more information. So that's when I started creating this drip campaign about 18, 19 years ago. So all I did was I just sat and said, how do I want to hear from somebody? And I started going, okay, if I'm on there, I want to see listings. So when you're getting pay-per-click leads, the biggest thing that you have to always remember is these people are signing up because they want to see houses. They want to see houses. They don't want to hear from us 24/7. This isn't about realtors. This is about they're being prompted to look at inventory of homes. So I always know, first and foremost, I want to make sure that when they come on, I've got them set up on a nice wide range. So they're getting a lot of houses emailed to them every day, because that's my name going in their inbox. And then I said to myself, okay, so clearly I need to touch base with these people. They can't have just listings. So what do I want to tell them? And the biggest thing, my very first email that I send out, which is on day 7, and I think we've actually shared that one with people, I believe, right at the beginning of us, is basically, hey, I just wanted to thank you for coming on my site and looking at listings. I really appreciate it. Please let me know if you want me to revise your search criteria. I'm always available to help. That's my first email. So it's very soft. It's very non-threatening. And I get a ton of replies because now they're getting a little bit of everything every day from me in regards to listings. And on day 7, I'm now saying, can I change it for you? And they're replying back, and typically they'll say, yeah, I'm only pre-approved to Xterra, or maybe I only want detached homes or condos. And when that happens, then I reply back, response time, right away. And I say, no problem, Sue, I'll make that change for you right now. So as I create my drip, I start thinking, okay, would I want a similar email the very next week, or would I want to go a little bit more time? And that's when I created my day 15 email. And so my drip campaign consists of different things that I think buyers and sellers will want to know about the real estate. So, you know, one of my emails is I talk about, do you need help with a mortgage? I work with a lot of preferred partners, the best in the business. Let me know and I'll pass your name along to them. You know, I do an email about if you have a house to sell, you know, here's some of the things I offer. Always short, Crystal, never long. I do not attach anything because nobody's going to open a PDF. Nobody. And that's how I get so many people in the car. So for me, with the drip campaign, that I just took the time to say, what do I want to know as a buyer and seller in real estate? And that's how I formulate it. Right? Yeah. So people can listen, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Right? You just got to think like lead. What do I want?
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's also gearing it because, and with that understanding that most of them aren't moving right now, right? But you want to be able to help facilitate wherever they're at in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it'll help you rather than, you know, are you ready to go look at houses? You're ready to go look at houses. You know, no one, you know, you might get the odd person that will be responsive to those aggressive, more direct type emails. But a lot of people will just like, you know, if you're constantly sending that to them, it's very sales pressured.
Yeah. And you know what, I'll give you an example. So in my entire campaign, there's only one email, and that's my day 30 email. They all start off with a thank you, but on the day 30 email, I do say, do you want to start seeing some homes? It's literally 2 paragraphs. Usually they reply, I'm not ready yet, or some reply, yeah, I wouldn't mind. What do you think of this house? But the rest of my emails are just little bits of information. So I do ask the once, and that's all I need. Because, you know, remember, the beautiful thing about Agent Locator and how it's progressed, Crystal, I've been on it, is they now fill out the get in touch forms, the more information forms, ask a question form, and the book a showing. So even though they may not be replying directly sometimes to my drip campaign, they're constantly filling out those forms. Right? So that's where they're starting to build their trust in me, because that's really what it's all about. Right?
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think that's it on the questions side of things so far. I did post your website link for everyone. So if you are interested in learning more about Tara's program, it is there for you guys to explore. She offers different packages. So it's kind of, there's something for everyone, really, regardless of your budget at the end of the day, right? So.
And you know, the whole point of doing this isn't even just, it's not about the coaching company at all. It's about the fact that if you take the time and just really sit down and think about creating a drip campaign or using the ones that Agent Locator have and just maybe altering a little bit, just so that they sound more like from you. The biggest part of lead conversion, the reason I have always been successful is they're very non-threatening, my drip campaign. They sound just like I'm talking to you now. And people respond to them because it's very non-salesman. And that's what the key to conversion is. And then responding right away. If someone replies back to you and you wait a week before you respond, you've lost that lead. So that's why a couple times ago, we talked about our response time. It is imperative, if you're going to buy these leads, that you respond right away when they do ask their questions or fill out the form. You're welcome.
Awesome. I think this was good that people got to ask their questions. A lot of, topics we have discussed before, but it's always good. The more you hear things, the more likely it's just it gets embedded, right? Yeah. And you start actioning through it because it becomes common knowledge. You know what you have to do. It's now just a matter of doing it.
Well, I'm honored to be part of this, and I thank you all for your support. I love seeing the people come on. It means the world to me. Thank you, Christina and Priyanka, for that amazing open house and your share. Next time, maybe we can do another Q&A. Let us know ahead of time if there's different subjects you want us to feature for you.
Absolutely.
We're in a bit of a weird turn, and we all got to stick together. It's a very strange market shift. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you, Tara. Thanks, everyone. Again, you guys can shoot me an email if you have any topics or, discussion that you would like to have sessions focused on. We can definitely adjust and gear them towards that. It's all about you guys. But we will see everyone in a couple of weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Awesome. All right. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
girl.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.